Hey guys, how is it all going? So, as always, thank you so much for joining me for the VHS 99 movie review. And I've been a bit of a fan of this series. I would have to go back and rewatch them though, because I remember certain segments more than others throughout the different movies. I always remember watching the first one and really enjoying it and thought it was just something fresh and something new and a different take on the horror genre at the time, because I can't remember an anthology horror movie like before VHS. I'm sure there is some, obviously like Creepshow and stuff like that. But I mean in like the early 2000s or late 2000s, we didn't really have anything like that. So it was quite cool to see VHS come along, and very quickly we had VHS 2, which I really enjoyed. I do remember enjoying that sequel more than the first. But since then, I have seen the other ones. I've seen Viral and VHS 94, but I don't remember much of them. So I'd have to go and rewatch them. But I think now, with my current memory of these movies, I like the first one, but I think the second one has been my favourite so far. I thought the segments in the second one were very strong, like practically all of them. Whereas in the first one, I liked about two or three segments, and I thought the others were quite weak. So I was actually quite looking forward to watching VHS 99. And overall, I have to say the film is okay. It's not bad. It's not good. It's okay. It's very down the middle. It doesn't do anything new to change the genre up. And not one particular segment really stands out in this. They're all, for me, pretty much the same, bar one, which I couldn't stand. And I'll get into that, because I think the best way to review VHS is to just give you my thoughts on each segment that's in the movie. And there's 5 segments in this movie. And the best way for me to review it, I think, is just to give you a little quick plot synopsis of each segment and then just give you my thoughts on that segment. So the first segment in VHS 99, and I've just got it up here, is called Shredding. And the plot of Shredding is Rack, a punk rock band who love pulling pranks and regularly record their antics on a web show for their fans. For their latest video, the band decides to break into a Connolly Underground, a former music venue that burned down 3 years prior in a freak electrical accident. The band explains that the only casualties of the incident were the 4 members of up-and-coming punk band Bitch Cat, who headlined on the night the fire occurred. The tape then transitions to a demo reel of Bitch Cat performing one of their songs that the members RC, Clarissa, I think it says, Chelsea and Deirdre are interviewed about their lives and their motivations for becoming a band. Now, I won't go any further than that, because that's basically the outline of what the first one is. But I will say this. If this segment was to be the whole movie, I would have turned it off straight away, because I could not stand the characters of this segment. They were unbelievably annoying. And no spoilers, but I will say this. I was very happy when the group Rack got butchered. It highlighted it really did, because I could not stand these characters in this one at all. So I think that was the weakest part for me, to be honest with you. So the second segment is called Suicide Bid, and the simple plot of that is there's a college freshman called Lily who's desperate to join the Beta Stigma Elite, the most prestigious sorority on her campus. Recording an application for the sorority, she is interrupted by her roommate Helen, who expresses concern that Lily is performing a suicide bid, wherein an application puts only one sorority as their recruitment choice. I will leave it as that, because the suicide bid segment has one of my worst fears ever, and that's being buried alive. And this happens to the poor girl, and that's not the only thing that happens to it. There's a lot more stuff, but Yeah, I like this segment, but because of the situation this poor young girl finds herself in, it really makes me uncomfortable. But overall, I did enjoy it. It was quite a nice segment, and it had a couple of moments where it did creep me out. I'm not gonna lie. And the third segment, which I must admit I find the funniest, but I don't think it's supposed to be funny, but I laughed. It's called Ozzy's Dungeon. And Ozzy's Dungeon is a children's game show where young contestants participate in physical challenges for a chance to descend into their dungeon and meet Ozzy, who will allow the winner to be granted a wish. I will just leave it there on that one because this one is the weirdest one of all five segments. And I have to say, the guy that plays the game show host, I can't remember the actor's name. I do apologise. But it's the guy that plays Trevor Phillips in GTA 5. And he so doesn't give a shit about these kids. He's such a twat that it actually made me laugh. I actually found it quite funny. I don't think you're supposed to find it funny, but I have a dark humour sometimes, and he made that segment, and I think out the whole movie, he was actually my favourite character, to be honest with you. So the Aussie's Dungeon one is the weirdest one of the lot. Still good fun. It's a good time. So the fourth segment is one called The Gawkers. I think that's how you pronounce it. So the simple plot of that one is Brady is a young teenager who films stop motion videos of toy soldiers, the animations depicted in between the film segments, which I did forget to mention, I'm sorry, with his older brother Dylan's camera. While Brady records his latest video, Dylan bursts into his room and takes the camera which he uses to film himself practicing pickup lines. He and his friends Kurt, Mark and Boner exclude Brady from their activities, thinking him to be a hopeless loser. The friends then go out to pull pranks on their neighbourhood residents and each other, then perform tricks at the local skate park. The group also discover a large patch of snake skin near a field, taunting Boner to eat it for 50 cents. Have that snake skin one just in your mind with this segment. Okay, we'll get to the meet and greeting on this. After concealing the camera and using it in an attempt to get secret upscale photos of two girls, the teens become fixated on Sandra, an attractive blonde who has moved into the house across the street from Brady and Dylan's house. I will leave it there. Think of the attractive blonde and then think of the snakeskin found near a field. And I didn't mind the segment. This was the one that surprised me the most. Like, I did not see it coming. I really didn't. And that's what I like about a lot of these segments in the movies, is that the mystery of each video and then the reveal of what it is. A lot of it's quite surprising, and I didn't see this one coming. So I didn't mind this segment. Like I said, all the segments are okay. There's none that are better or worse than the others. And say now, apart from the first one, but that's a personal thing for me. I just couldn't stand the characters in it. And also the last segment is called To Hell and Back. So basically the one of this one is on New Year's Eve 1999, best friends and videographers Nate and Troy have been hired by what is revealed to be a coven of witches. Their task is to film the witches performing a ritual where a woman named Kristen volunteers to be offered as a vessel to a powerful demon known as Eucabon. Eucabon? I probably completely said that wrong. Despite agreeing to film the ritual, Nate is noticeably skeptical of his clients and think that the ritual may be a prank. Start. The witches performing the ritual tell the duo that while they can call it Eucabon, is it Eucabon? I can't remember. Anyway, we're cracking on with it. They will not actually summon it until the stroke of midnight on the new millennium. While the vessel between Earth and Hell is at its thinnest. Right, okay. As the ritual begins, Fergus, an uninvited demon who has interrupted the coven's ritual before, makes its presence known as the witches attempt to cast it out. Fergus grabs Nate and Troy and drags them underneath the witch's altar, which leads them to hell. Now, I will say this. I think this one is the longest segment. I could be wrong in that, but this one felt like it was longer than the other ones. And not because it was the worst one of the lot. I actually had a really good time with this one. I actually wish this could have been like half the movie or whatever. Like if they would have just done, say, 3 segments. but made this one like the second half of the movie. I could have stayed in this world and with these characters a lot more than what I did. And it's surprisingly quite funny, right? And it is supposed to be funny. There's a lot of comedy in this, and I like the characters in this. And I also like a young lady who plays a demon called Mabel. I thought she was brilliant. And she's also in another Shudder movie called Deathstream or Deadstream, which I'll be reviewing for you guys as well. And I thought she was great in that. So she was a standout in this segment for me, and it was a lot of fun. And that concludes the VHS 99. So, like I said, overall, I don't think it's the best VHS movie, but it's definitely not the worst. Like I said, it's okay. It's a good time, basically. You can go into this, turn your brain off, have some snacks, a couple of drinks, and just enjoy what it's giving you. And like I say, no segment is like really worse than the other one, to be honest with you. They're all pretty much solid. But apart from the first segment and just the personal choice for me, the only reason why for that is the characters just irritated me to death. But other than that, it was okay. It was okay. So overall, guys, I would give VHS 99. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. If you're a fan of the VHS series, definitely check it out because I do think you will take something from it. But don't expect it to be the greatest one at all. I still think the crown for that goes to the VHS 2. I do. But watching VHS 99 does make me excited for VHS 85, which is coming out next year. So overall, it's solid, guys. It's worth your time. 3.5 out of 5. And as always, guys, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you again real soon. Take care, guys. Goodbye now.